So we're gonna go ahead and roll this here. And he negates that. So the monster now is going to attack us. So he's gonna move in here. Then we're gonna have to test observation. So we get 4 dice to roll there. So we passed that test. Now we have to resolve a horror check. We'll go ahead and do Agatha first on the horror check. And so she needs to then roll for agility. So we're gonna go over here. We're gonna roll 3 agility. We got 1 success, so we're okay. And we're gonna do another horror check. So in this case, we're gonna roll will, and we just need 1, but we're going to then flip up a horror face up. And this says, oh, look again, no additional effect. Flip it down. So we have ended the Mythos phase. I could have tried to have Agatha here evade and then get in here because she can use actually up to 6 lore because she's got that bonus item. But I have to pass the evade check as well. So I don't know that I actually need that. So I'm just going to go ahead and have the father do it because he could do it twice. So we're going to go ahead and make an attempt. And we need to move this 1, 2, 3, I think 4. Yeah, so that's too many. Then I'm gonna do it one more time, attempt that, and we'll do that. Locked it, unlocked it. I haven't screwed it up the first time. Okay. I made that much harder than I needed to be. So you're traced in a continuous line through the winding markings as the butler instructed you. The runes illuminate with a strange green light and a wall panel pops open, revealing 1 secret door to a hidden study behind the wall. Gain a clue. So now we have the office. Put a search token, 2 search tokens, and I can move 1 space in. Okay, so that was my second action, I believe. Yes, because I searched once, I searched again, so now I can come in here and root around a little bit. And then up here in the corner, Agatha is going to, let's see, she could evade and move in here and get away from that guy and deal with him. Well, let's take a look at this fella here. I think we're gonna go ahead and do an attack on him because he's only got 3 health. So we're going to go ahead and attack him with the crowbar, the heavy weapon. And we're going to do a strength test of 2. And I just realized in my sort of juggling of editing here, every time we do a horror check with her, we're supposed to gain a clue. So I'm just going to go ahead and give her 2 clues, kind of cheating. But we're going to go ahead and do the heavy weapon check here. And just in case, oh, so we whiffed that completely. So we missed. So we can go ahead and try to, let's try to attack him again. Heavy weapon here. With the same kind of idea here. So we're gonna go ahead and roll 2 dice, and okay, there we go, bam, and then good thing I had a clue token. I certainly would have had 1 clue token, and I think I might have had 2. So let's just do that. And the app does say it will suffer 2 damage. So we're gonna go ahead and put 2 damage on it, and then we're gonna go ahead and end investigator phase. The light dies slowly. Place darkness in each space of the office. The Mythos event affects each investigator in the office. So these are the darkness tokens. We'll put these in here. So what these do is a couple things. One, you can't do the whole spending clues to make successes thing. And if you have any light sources, this will cancel that out. So while these are in here, we got to be a little bit extra careful. So again, resolve that event. In the dark, you hear a strange sound as if someone is being strangled. You fear you will soon feel cold hands. Suffer 2 face down horror, and it'll be negated. So anybody in the office will do that. So we're going to do that with the father. So again, he gets the 5. So that's negated. So the monster is going to stay where he is and attack Agatha. And we're going to do observation 1. And so we're going to do this here. And we got the success. Let's continue. Now we do a horror check. So we'll do Agatha first on the horror check. So she's going to suffer a horror. So we're going to go ahead and do this. And remember, we do get a clue token here. I don't want to forget that. So we're going to do this. And this is actually +1. So we're going to get this one here. So she got 1 success. She suffered 2. So I'm going to go ahead and spend 1 of those to turn that in there. So that's going to block all of that. Back here, we're going to try it again with the father. He's going to do a horror check. And he's going to suffer 1. And he's going to negate it and then flip 1 up. And we're good. But now, since I know what this card is, I have to be very, I'm gonna try not to cheat here. Okay, this one, what is this one? Okay, so this is keep face up. Whenever you end your turn within range of another investigator, flip 1 horror face up. Okay. That's, okay, this one's called paranoia. So you're paranoid of the other investigator there. But I already know that one's no big deal, so that one's gonna keep flipping. But if I get a new one, I got to remember to apply that. And so he's got 1 hit point left, so I'm going to go ahead and have him be attacked first, and then we'll worry about what's here in the office. So we'll go back here and attack with the heavy weapon. So we're going to do dexterity 2 or agility 2. So we've got agility with 3 dice. We need 2 successes. There's our 2. Whoops, there's our 2 there. And so we only need to do 1 damage to it, and that will kill it. So we've got that. So it's dead. So the monster is now removed from the board. And that was her 1 action, so she can jump in here now for her 2nd action. And then the father here is going to, I'm just going to move in here and then test that one. So he's going to interact with the search token here. Search. On the desk, you find what looks like a personal planner. As you pick up the book, a brass key clatters between the pages. If the alignment truly weakens the veil, I believe that it is the only moment we have to break through. I will make the necessary preparations in the yard. Gain the brass key and incriminating evidence unique items. So we're going to give the father the brass key item and then the incriminating evidence item here. Okay, you place the planner back on the desk and search through the drawers. You find some things of use, but no additional evidence. Gain an elder sign pendant common item. So this one here allows you to roll 1 additional die when invading a monster. So since that was only 1 movement, he got his first action. You can interrupt the movement with an action, then you can go back here. So that's his 2 actions. And so now we are good here. We're going to try to get way out west over here. But that, going back to the app, is the end of the investigator phase. The Mythos phase is going to happen. The air begins to shimmer with heat. The shimmer comes a glow, enveloping Agatha Green. She's going to test observation and hopefully try to negate 3 damage. So observation 4. So we're going to roll this and do that. So she's going to be able to prevent 3 of that. So that's just good. So we're just going to take an extra one, but then we're going to flip all 3 of these up. And so let's see, no additional effect. This face down. Drop 1 random item, then flip this card face down. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and try to not cheat again. And this one she drops is the pocket watch, which right now is not a big deal. A robed figure appears from the side door and begins searching around. Upon seeing signs of other people, the figure yells, "There's someone here!" So we got to spawn a cultist. And then we've got to move Eugene out of the dining room into the hallway. And so part of that is the cultist is going to move 2 spaces, but it's not within range of us here, so he's not going to attack. So we'll select no investigators within range, and so it's going to move another 2 spaces. So go ahead and end the Mythos phase. So now we need to get out the west door here. We could try to slink past him. I'm going to go ahead and do that. So the father's going to do 1, 2. He's going to do 1, 2 and try to jump over here and then try to evade the cultist there. So we're going to go ahead and interact here with the cultist, trying to evade, resolve an evade check. So we're going to suffer 2 face down damage, negating with +1 on dexterity. If you suffer 2 damage, the assault is relentless and you forfeit your action. So we have agility 3, so +1. So we got that, we beat that there. So the father's able to move that extra step. And we're going to do the same thing here with Agatha. 1, 2, 1 here. I'll go ahead and do an evade, confirm that. And so we're going to text dexterity. We need 2 successes. So the 3 dice on the agility. Nothing. If you fail, the cultist collides with you, pushing you to the floor. Suffer 1 damage and forfeit your action. And we'll go back into ending the investigator phase. So it says light fades from around you, leaving anything even inches from your face obscured. Place darkness in each space in the library. And the Mythos event affects each investigator in its darkness space. But there's no darkness where we have the investigator, so it's actually not a bad idea that we kind of booked it out of there. So go ahead and resolve the event. Nothing will happen there. So we'll continue. So the monster is going to attack. And it's going to attack the one who has suffered the most horror, which is even. So we're going to go ahead and have it attack Agatha because she's got more total. And the monster is going to attack. So she's going to suffer 2 damage, negating it with lore. So it should be okay. So we have 2 coming. So we have 1, 2 successes. Because we'll go ahead and spend that. Because if we look back here at the app, if you suffer no damage, you can redirect that to 1 damage to the monster. So we're going to go ahead and do that. Each investigator must resolve a horror check. So we're going to bring that up with Agatha. So she's gonna test her agility. So test agility there. She got the success. We're gonna go ahead and test the horror check for the father, and I'm just remembering that Agatha needs that clue token back, which I just gave her. So we're gonna do the 4 here. So we got the success, we're okay. And father's gonna jump in here. He's gonna interact with this. So we're gonna go here and interact. So the weathered door stands at the end of the hall. You hear bizarre noises from the outside. You try the handle. You find the door is locked. A key sits beneath the brass door. You can explore the item only if you have the brass key unique item, which I do. So I'm explore. And so now we're going to go outside. It says, the smell of soil and rotting plant matter greets you as you open the door to dimly lit conservatory. Through the windows, you can see a walled off side yard. A massive circle of ruins has been carved into the earth. Discard the explore token. Place the conservatory. So cramped space is filled with yard tools and other landscaping. Place the axe, common item as indicated. And 2 rope figures stand across from each other in a ritual circle chanting. The one nearest you seems to be in some kind of trance and hardly acknowledges. So spawn a cultist as indicated. The other figure lowers the hood of his robe and points at you with an ornate dagger. What are you doing on my property? You are meddling in things you do not understand. Spawn a priest of Dagon. This is William Vanderbilt. William Vanderbilt begins chanting a heinous incantation that causes reality to warp and shift. A terrible fish-like creature slips through the fabric and spawn a deep one way back in the office. Then we spawn another deep one at the entrance. Then we're going to spawn yet another deep one here in the hall. A ritual circle on the ground is scattered with candles, skulls, and other trinkets. If you could get these ritual components, you could stop the cult's vile magics and have enough proof to condemn the Vanderbilt family. Place an interactive token as indicated. You can move 1 space into the explored area. You must interrupt the ritual taking place before it is complete. Okay, just to give you a little bird's eye view of the situation. So we have the deep ones here, and the cultist here, and then the father here, and so there's an axe in here now, and then this fella, and then here. So we have to try to interact with this to try to stop it. So he can continue his movement. He's going to go into there. And I'm pretty sure that's his second action, because you go 1, 2, and then open that, and you got the free movement here. Okay, so he can't quite yet pick up this axe. This has it's kind of like the same, but it has a special ability. It allows you to convert some horror into some successes. So he's got to get into here and interact with that. So he's done his turn. Now we've got to go back over here. So she's got to deal with this fella and probably these deep ones here. So maybe she's just going to go a little bit combat heavy and try to distract these guys while he's in here, like so. She's going to attack this guy. So we're going to go ahead and attack. He's going to get a heavy weapon hit. We're going to test strength test 2. And then I'm going to go ahead and roll that there. So she's got that. She can spend a success. She's going to do that. That's going to do 2. And we're going to do the weapon damage. So he's going to take 2 hits. He's going to be killed. So we'll go ahead and take him off the board. And then we'll get a little bit of the layout there. So that was her first action. She probably should make her way over this way. I don't know that you really want to do any exploring or anything. So maybe she's going to try to get ahead of this guy. So she's going to move in here, try to evade this guy here. So we're going to take a look at that. So we're going to test agility 3. So we either get to move or we don't. So we got 3 dice. I got to get all successes. That's not going to happen. So she's going to stop moving. All right, so now it's going to get a little crazy. End the investigator phase. So this affects each investigator in the conservatory, which is where the father is. So we'll resolve the event. So he's going to test lore, and he needs 1 success. So he's got lore 4. We're going to roll that. He's got the success. So now the cultist that was doing the ritual is going to move in and try to attack. So he's going to move in here. Oopsie. And he's going to attack. So he's got 1 token he can spend. However, he does have something here. He can roll 1 die per round. So this will probably come in useful finally. And so he's got that one. That's a success. So we're going to go ahead and roll that one. Nothing. So that before we spend that, we're going to go ahead and reroll. So we failed anyway. So he's going to flip 2 damage and become dazed. I think suffer 1 additional face down damage and flips that face down. And then this one is keep face up. If you move more than a single space as a part of a move, flip 1 damaged face up. So this is a broken leg. Great. And so I'm sorry, what did this one say? Yeah, another face down damage. Okay, so we've got 3 damage on him now. And this one says you cannot perform a clue to convert the dice, and you can discard at the end of your turn, and you can't do additional puzzle steps either with that. That's the dazed effect. So Vanderbilt will move 2 spaces to be within range of as many investigators as possible, then attacks each investigator within range. So he's going to go 1, 2, and so he can attack. So we got 4 here. So there's 2 successes. So we're going to do that. So we only get 1 face down damage, which is okay. We got 6. So just to keep score here, we've got 3 plus the 1 broken leg there. So now we're going to do the deep one that's in the office, and it's going to move 2 spaces, but there's no investigators in that space. So that amounts to this guy just basically moving 2 spaces closer. Now we're going to do the deep one that came in through the front door. He's also going to move 2 spaces. So now this fellow is going to come up here. And now the app has activated this guy here with the purple symbol. And we're going to suffer 2 damage with strength negating. So Agatha's getting picked on. So let's do that. Okay, so she blocked 1 of those, so she took 1 more damage. Now we have to do a horror check against the monster within range with the highest horror rating. So that there, you check the number here at the bottom, like so. So when there's multiple monsters that you kind of compare these ratings and then react accordingly. So we'll go to the app here, we'll do it for Agatha. So we're going to suffer horror, so she's going to take that. She's going to do will. So it's 2 hits we're trying to negate. There's that. I'm going to go ahead and I'll go ahead and take 1, just because she's got 9. I'm more worried about her health, so I'm going to keep that for her health. Back to the app, we're going to do another horror check here. So we're going to go ahead and take the horror damage here. So he's at 3. Okay, so what we want to do is we really want to interact with this, right? So we need to get him out and evade these monsters. Now there's 2 monsters here. What you're going to do is you're going to look at this rating here at the top. Let's go ahead and look at this guy. So he's the highest rating. So he's got a evade or awareness of 4. So if we can evade him, so we're going to go to the app now. I'm just going to try it. And we're going to try to now invade the priest here. We're going to test dexterity. If you pass, you step to the side. If you fail, you suffer damage and then you forfeit the action. And so we're going to go ahead and try that. Boom. Yeah, baby. So we got those 2 there. So this guy jumps into the air like a fool. We jump into here, and now we're going to interact with this. So back here to the app, we're going to go ahead and interact with this. We're going to disrupt the ritual. All right. Now what? Using your gut and scraps of knowledge you've gathered, you're going to test the lore. You may discard any number of evidence to convert an equal number of clues to successes. So remember here, we now have the incriminating evidence. So this can act as sort of an additional clue marker here. So we're going to test lore. That's 4. We didn't use our reroll yet, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. So that's 1, and then we're going to go ahead. So this is already a success here, so we're going to go ahead and do this one here. So we can use the evidence now to get our 3rd success. Sorry, that's not out of camera there. There's our 3rd success. So back to the app here, we're going to go 1, 2, 3. Is that enough? Carefully performing each step, you remove the components from the ritual. Almost immediately, some of the malign energy seems to fade from the air around you. You've put an end. Gain the ritual component's unique item. So now we can get the father out of the house with the thing, or the father could trade the components. So that would be the end of the game. So I'm gonna go ahead and call it here. Okay, so hope you enjoyed the playthrough there. I think I covered most of the different things that you will encounter. Now that was completely different. Well, I would say completely different, but there's a lot of like different things in this playthrough than in another playthrough I had done. The puzzle that I encountered was in a different spot. The map was a little different. And the puzzle was a completely different type of puzzle. There was a puzzle where you, like, instead of swapping tiles, you sort of slid these little bar kinds of things. It's hard to explain. But there's 3 different types of puzzles in the game. And the game is really unique. I won't get too much into the review of it. I kind of want to just leave this as a walkthrough. I'll review it again probably in a couple days after I've played it a few more times. And so it's a very different game, though. I mean, I didn't play the original. I think it's probably really close to or just like the original. Having recently played the Descent Plus app, the app here is a lot like it, but there's some differences. There's a little bit more management in the app than Descent. I think you can see that. But I like it because even if the same investigators interacting with the same monster or a different investigator, or it's a different turn, the behavior is going to be a little bit different. So the app is a little bit more narrative, it's a little bit more thematic, it's a little bit more descriptive. I do kind of apologize sort of towards the end there. It's kind of one of the reasons I stopped. I was kind of blowing through all the narrative stuff just to kind of keep the pace up. But the narrative is really what makes the game itself and kind of what sets it apart. So I really enjoyed it. I think you could probably play through, I'm kind of guessing here, each scenario a few times, and I think there's 5, I want to say there's 5 or 6 that comes in the app. And plus, if you have the old first edition stuff, then you probably have a lot more variability there. In terms of some of the other mechanics, it's a lot like Eldritch Horror and stuff, and then you get the different conditions on you, and the wounds act in this different kind of way where they might have these special effects that hinder you. So the game seems relatively difficult. I didn't finish this one, but I didn't win the first time that I played it, and I don't think I would have won this time because I was pretty well surrounded there. It would have been dicey. I would probably have to make some evade checks and try to get the father out of the house and maybe forsake Agatha, because she was really going to take a pounding or two, within the next 2 turns, I bet. So the components are amazing. I mean, the tiles, I love the tiles, and I love it, because like Descent, Imperial Assault, you have sort of generic kind of tiles, and that's fine. But here they're very detailed, very well illustrated. There's a lot of tiles in here. The miniatures are pretty good. This is something that I have a lot of miniatures to paint, but if I ever got around to this, I think I might, because I do really enjoy the game, kind of spoiling the review. So that's kind of a general sort of first impressions kind of thoughts about the game. I definitely, I'll give you the kind of the takeaway. I would recommend it for sure. I mean, it's a high price point, but I think you're going to get a ton of variability out of here and a ton of narrative. If you can really sort of invest and read through the app a little bit and get into the theme of it and the whole exploration of these creepy mansions, I think you're going to have a lot of fun with it. So definitely take a look at it. Thanks.